We're making a film. Mo is going to talk about her reminiscences. Okay? We hope you can hear it.
Hope so. Hope so.
Okay, Mom.
Yes. What do you want to know?
Tell me about the house that you grew up in, your first house that you remember in the city.
The first one I remember was on 48th Street, between 8th and 9th Avenue. The number was 350. 350 West 48th Street. And we lived on the third floor, up above the level. So
The street level was 0, and then 1, 2, 3.
And we were the third floor. And then there was one above us, and then the roof. And we could get up there very easily, just by walking up the stairs. So, what else do you want to know?
Well, how many flights of stairs did you have to go up?
We did have to go up 3 flights of stairs. There were about 22 steps on each of the stairs. And there was a nice banister that we held going up. But when we were coming down, sometimes we slid down the banister. Instead of walking down the stairs, we got up on the banister and slid right down.
Sure you did.
It was nice and easy.
So how many rooms were in that apartment? And was it back to front or what?
It was back to front, and it was 6 rooms. The kitchen, a long hall with the 1 bedroom off that hall, then the dining room, and then 2 bedrooms, one next to the other, and then the parlor, or the big, which had 2 windows looking over the street. And we could look out those windows, keep them open or shut, whatever.
And there was a window in the back in the kitchen?
Oh, that was a nice big
window?
one. Yes, and it went out to a fire escape. There was a fire escape right at the level. Each apartment had one.
Oh, okay. And so what about the bedrooms? They had windows? They were
Yes.
out to the wall of the next building, probably.
Well, you'd think that, but there was what we called an air shaft, which went up between the 2 buildings, was just vacant, was air coming in, the big windows in the bedroom. And, well, that's what that was.
Just to get air, not to get a view.
No, there's no view, just air, smelly air.
So how many people lived there now? Was your brother Johnny still living there when you...
Well, when I remember,
there?
he was in the seminary at that time. And he was in St. Joseph's Seminary in Yonkers. And for some reason, they put him out. I think they found him in a Jersey place or something like that. And they put him out. And he was to be out for a year and then go back. But he would not wait. And he went up to Syracuse and went into the Syracuse diocese. And he made up the year that way. And he was ordained up in Syracuse. And we all went up to see him ordained. And then he came back and he just visited us. He was in Rochester. And I forget the name of the other little place that he was. Camillus, that's right. Thank you for remembering.
But going back to the apartment, how many people were there? There was 2 big bedrooms and 1 little bedroom and
the parlor where we had a big divan and 3 people slept in the divan in the parlor. At the front room, we used to call it the front room. And then the 2 bedrooms, which one was my father's, and he slept with 2 kids in his bed. And then my mother also had the next bedroom, and that was Mom's bedroom, and Mom slept with 2 kids in the same bed with her. And the parlor and the dining room was the next big room.
But there was a little bedroom, you said, too.
And now that I've come to that.
Sorry.
That's all right. The hall from the dining room to the kitchen had a little bedroom, a very small one, right off of it. and the bathroom. They were off that hall. And Jim had that was Jim's bedroom. He was all by himself there, my mother's brother.
Yeah.
And then there's the bathroom with a big tub in it, and no shower in those days.
Just a tub.
Just a tub.
Yeah.
And
so there was a crowd.
Oh yes, we were a big family. 6 kids, and at least 6 were living there.
Yeah.
In the original, there was 10 kids.
Yeah. Wow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So what now?
We all filled it.
The kitchen. How was that set up? What did your mother use to cook?
The kitchen was a big window, and outside the window there was a fire escape, which, in case of fire, we could get out there and go down the ladder right to the street, or the back yards. That the kitchen.
The stove. What about
and the stove was in the kitchen, and it was a coal stove. We put coal in it, which was kept in the cellar. We each had a bin, and we'd go down there and fill up a big pail with coal and put it on that dumbwaiter, we used to call it, the dumbwaiter, where you could pull up with the ropes and pull it up to your window, your door.
Right.
And you pulled it in that way.
And the same with the ice,
same with
too.
The ice. When we had the ice box, we had no refrigeration. And we'd have to empty the box under the ice box because the water dripped down. And that was our jobs for the day.
Now, the ice came how?
Came in a big block. It was like 12 inches square, a block of ice. And of course it melted, and they had to get another one. But,
now, who brought it?
And
the
ice man
with
came
the horse?
down to. He had a horse and carriage, or a horse and wagon, and he'd bring the ice in to the cellar, and that's where the bottom of the
dumbwaiter.
The dumbwaiter was. The dumbwaiters, that's the. And you put the ice on the dumbwaiter and pull it up and take it in and put it right in the ice box.
How often did you have to do that?
Every day.
Every day you got a new block of ice?
Yeah.
Wow. How about even in the winter?
Yes, even in the winter.
Well, I guess with the coal stove in there, heating the same room up as where the block of ice was, they were battling each other.
That's right, and it was a good fight. Anyway.
Okay, what kind of stuff did you usually eat? Like for breakfast?
For breakfast, we always had to have oatmeal, cooked oatmeal that Mama cooked, and we had prunes usually on the top of it. Oatmeal with prunes, that was our breakfast. And a glass of milk, maybe.
Did you take lunch to school with you? And
we went to lunch. We took our lunch in a sandwich or something like that, but mostly sandwich. And we get to school, and we'd have a nickel for a little bottle of milk. So what we used was a nickel for the milk, and that was our lunch. And we come home from school and had a snack. Not much of a snack, though. Usually an apple or an orange or a banana.
That's healthier than what we eat for snacks.
That's the truth.
For sure.
Yep.
Now, what about school? Where'd you go to school?
We went to school, the Sacred Heart School. It was situated at 50th Street, 51st Street, and we lived on 48th. So we had to walk the 3 blocks and 1 avenue over. And that's where we went to school.
On 10th Avenue?
On 10th Avenue, all the way down to the 10th Avenue. And
Did you wear a uniform?
No uniform. Oh yes, we had middies and skirts. We used to have it, and a tie.
Oh, you did have a uniform.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Everybody wore them.
And was there boys and girls in the same class?
No, the boys were with the brothers,
and
the girls had the nuns.
Uh-huh.
So, and we had 2 schools. 2 school buildings, the boys and the girls.
Yeah, like St. Joseph's used to be.
Yeah, and a big yard where we all went down after lunch for recess.
Right. Well, that wasn't much different from when I went to school even.
No, I guess not. Same old stuff.
So, like in the evenings, obviously no television, maybe a radio. What'd you do to amuse yourself besides homework in the winter time?
Well, we have crossword puzzles. We used to do them a lot. Mom used to always do them. So we followed her example. And we either studied, read a book, or did crossword puzzles.
And what about
And
music?
Oh yeah,
I'm
we
sorry.
always had. In fact, my mother was a great one for music, and she taught us a lot about music, all the good classics and everything else. And the
Did you have
instruments.
a Victrola?
We had a Victrola all the time.
And you told me once
Records.
that some people played instruments. You didn't. You were a listener, but
No, but Aileen did a very, very nice piano. She was, and no, he was the second boy. The first boy took violin lessons, but he ended up doing the ukulele and the tipple and all those modern things. And he was very good.
and you had a piano there too.
Oh yeah, Mom always had a piano. I don't know why, because she never played it, but she always had an instrument there.
Yeah.
And she gave the kids lessons who she wanted. Margaret was very good with the piano, so.
Did
and
she
she
give
taught-
them the lessons herself?
No,
Or
no.
she went to paid somebody?
She paid somebody.
Yeah.
But Margaret also helped me. She showed me how to do a lot of piano things.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what time did you go to bed usually? Pretty
Usually
early?
we were in bed by 9:30
Yeah.
every night.
And you had to go to school, and did you go to mass in the morning?
And usually we went to Mass. You could go to St. Malachy's, which was on 49th Street and 1 Avenue over Broadway. And
But
if
the
we-
other direction
and,
from
yeah,
school.
That's right. But we went there, and if we were in time, okay. But if we weren't in time, I fully remember running from St. Malachy's all the way to St. Albert's, which was on 47th Street, and the other avenue over, the opposite direction.
Oh.
And you'd get there at least for communion, and it wasn't bad. And my mother and father always went to Mass, to 6:30 Mass. And then they would walk, Mom would walk home to take care of the kids, and Pop always walked up to 59th Street to Central Park, and he'd walk around this reservoir, and then he'd walk, no car, all the way down to 44th Street where the Harvard Club was, 27 West 44th, and he went there every day, walked.
Right.
And he walked home, and he walked every place.
Well, that was good though to walk.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, why do anything else?
Right.
Wasn't. So he
Took
worked
up
a
his
long
time.
time at the Harvard Club.
Oh yeah, his whole
Yeah.
life.
Okay. Can you think of anything else, like growing up? Like, where did you play? Who did you play with?
Well, we played on the street in front of the house, Potsy usually, and skipped the rope all the time.
Stoop ball?
Oh yeah, sometimes we did stoop ball, but not much, because when you hit the stoop, the ball would go into the street, and it was dangerous with the cars going by.
Oh, so you remember
we
there was were there as many cars as there are now?
Oh no, not at all.
Was it a mixture of cars and horses, or
Cars and horse and wagons,
Yeah.
and we should be careful of the poor horses too.
Yeah.
No.
So you lived at that house
I
from
lived
when you were
at-
born until you were how old?
Until I graduated from grammar school. I just remembered, I forgot to tell you about the policemen and the police station, which was directly behind our apartment. And we could look out the back window, the kitchen window, and we could see the jails. And mostly we could hear the terrible languages out of them. And oh, it's the drunks, you know, very drunk, most of them. And they'd be yelling at the top of their voice, and we could hear it. And it was very funny.
Very amusing.
Very, but not very enlightening, if you know what I mean. But we had fun listening to them, and you could see them at the windows trying to get out, but no good.
All bars.
That's right. All the bars were keeping them in where they belonged, and then through the night, at least there was quiet. We didn't have to hear them, so I guess they put them to sleep, and then we would hear them again the next day. And there was always someone in jail, so you could always depend on a little amusement in the back. But that's it.
High school. You started high school when you still lived on West 48th Street, right?
Right.
So tell me about high school, like, you know, how far you had to go and...
We had to walk all the way across town from 8th Avenue, where we lived, 8th Avenue and 48th Street, to 51st Street and Lexington Avenue. And we had to walk all the way across. That was from 8th Avenue, 7th Avenue, Broadway, 6th Avenue, 5th Avenue, Madison Avenue, then Lexington, Park Avenue, and then Lexington.
That was a long walk.
Yeah,
There was
right.
no bus to take?
No cross-town buses then. So we just walked and took our time. A whole bunch of us together, so that was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you told me something else about when you were going to school there, about construction in the neighborhood.
Yes, they were building Waldorf Astoria on 51st Street and Park Avenue, but it stretched all the way back to Lexington Avenue where our school was, and it was very, very noisy.
No doubt.
But we were there when it was built, so
Yeah.
a part of it.
And when did you move to the Bronx? How old were you?
It was the first year in high school that I moved to the Bronx.
Like in the middle of the year, or?
I forget what it was.
Oh, okay.
I think it was between semesters.
Like in the winter,
Yeah.
maybe. Right.
And we went up there and we lived there and had to travel by subway down to high school.
That was probably easier.
Oh, yeah. It was very
Than all that
easy,
walking.
because we walked a block and a half to the subway station, went down, got put on nickel in, and we were given 15 cents, 10 cents for subway fare, and a nickel for milk.
Those were the days, right?
Right. That's what it was. And we liked it. It was good.
How come you moved to the Bronx from West 48th Street?
My father was going to retire, and he saw that 48th Street was getting to be a honky-tonk place, like, you know. Wasn't as nice as it used to be. So he moved us to the Bronx.
Yeah. When you moved to the Bronx, was your family the first ones to live in that brownstone?
No, it was the Pattersons. They were politicians, and the two sisters lived. They were twin houses. They were connected, and Patterson, I forget what her name was, but she lived in the one we lived in, and the sister lived next door, but she soon moved out, and we were there half of this house, and that's all the way it was. So, and St. Jerome's was right across the street,
Right.
and we went to that school. The younger ones than me, Enda and Sheila.
Yeah. And now, where that brownstone was, there's the projects.
Oh yeah, big
They
apartment
took all
houses.
the brownstones down
Yeah.
in that neighborhood, and there's
That was a shame.
the big projects. Well, I guess they needed the housing.
That's right.
So, anyway. When you were living in the Bronx and you were like starting high school and stuff, what did you used to do for fun?
The
You
only
didn't watch
fun that I
television and
remember-
play computer games.
No, none of that. We had one thing to do. On Friday night, they had a dance at the school, at the church, and that's where we met all our friends, and it was very nice.
And
Just one thing he did.
well, you told me though other times that you did stuff with the Gaelic Society.
Oh yeah, with
So,
my father.
Yeah, why
He
don't you?
took us on Friday nights also, and Saturdays, to the Gaelic Society meetings.
Was that downtown or?
I think it was
Yeah.
44th Street, around there, the old neighborhood.
And what about like Irish parties and stuff? I mean, you kind of kept
Yeah.
your Irish identity, I think, right?
The Cairleys. That's an Irish name for party. Cheilde.
And you used to go to those.
Right.
And I know you used to do step dancing, so you must have taken lessons.
There was a man there, O'Sullivan, Sean O'Sullivan, and he used to teach us. He was a very good dancer himself. And he'd never charge you or anything, just teach you.
How good.
Very nice.
Yeah. And where did they have the feshes?
The Feshes were in up at Fordham. There was an auditorium like up there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they had the Feshes. And it was in a very park-like place, nice.
Outside?
Yeah.
Like in the spring, I guess they
Yeah,
do in the
like a
spring
park.
or the
It
fall.
was like a park.
Yeah. Did you win? Were you a good dancer?
Oh, sure, of course.
Did you win gold
Everybody was-
medals?
Everybody was good dancers. Good, no matter how you danced, it was good.
As long as you danced.
That's right.
That's right. I remember when I was a kid, you taught me like one step.
Well, that was the basic.
Yeah, the basic one. It's the only one I know, but it's good enough. I can
Sure.
get by.
Right.
At a
Just
party.
Keep doing it.
Oh, gosh. What about the house 203? Can you describe what that house was like? Because I know, I remember it because I was there
Yeah.
a number of times, but I
You
think
went
my
in-
younger
You
brothers
went
don't.
in either up the steps, if you were fancy, you went up the stoop, and you went in up there, and then, but that family just went down under the stoop. There was an entrance, and that was to where the kitchen was, and the not the living room, the dining room, and the kitchen, and a room we used to call the library. We kept all our books and stuff in there.
I thought the library was upstairs.
That was up.
On the
first
up
one
above the
in.
stoop. Yeah.
Uh,
My memory is 2 rooms down there, a big long hallway
Right.
that went to the kitchen, which was in the back,
Yeah.
and a room in front that you called the dining room.
Right. And
Was-
we ate there. The
and then
big
this-
table.
Yeah.
And in the kitchen, that was like that entrance was for when they have deliveries, when there were rich people living
Yeah,
there.
and the slaves lived downstairs.
Right.
Right. And there was a yard in the back.
Yes, a beautiful yard. My mother used to keep it
It
very
was
nice.
tiny though,
It wasn't
but
very
at least
big.
it was a yard.
Right, and it had a walk around it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
She used to hang her clothes out there too.
it's right.
Right. Okay, so you had that sort of like half underneath level, and then
first
how many
level was-
floors above that?
Well, the parlor and what we call the library, where we kept all our books. And then there was 2 more floors up, and there was a circular staircase.
I remember that. That was beautiful.
Right,
Yeah.
it was very nice. And on the first floor, there was like a big room in the back and a big room in the front. But up in the next floor, there was 2 rooms in the back and 1 big one in the front.
And those were bedrooms.
Bedrooms.
So
yeah.
that.
And a bathroom on each floor,
Yeah.
in the middle.
And what about the top floor?
That was the top floor. Two rooms and 1.
But there was another floor above that. You didn't. You had more than 3 bedrooms. You had like 5 bedrooms. I remember 2 floors of bedrooms.
2 floors, that's all.
Yeah. Were they all?
Oh, yeah. And
two.
the first floor was the parlor,
Right.
and then there's the 2.
2 floors of bedrooms. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember those bathrooms. They were like an afterthought because you had to step up
Right.
about
Yeah.
8 inches because all the plumbing was under the floor.
Right, that's right. The old days.
Yeah, the
Right.
bathrooms were an afterthought. And those, the parlor was very nice. I remember the
Oh.
beautiful floors. They were parquet.
And parquet floor and a big mirror at the end of between the two windows. There was from the floor to the ceiling.
I thought there was a fireplace there. Is that
There's a
wrong?
fireplace on the side.
Mm.
The chimney went up.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah. And that staircase was beautiful.
Yeah.
And then when you went up to the next floor where the bedrooms were, the bedrooms had, I remember they had along the wall in either case that backed up against the bathroom, they had like folding doors, and there was sink in the bedroom.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Right.
There was a
Forgot
sink
about
in the bedroom, and I don't know what else was in there. Was it like
A
places
closet.
to hang your clothes?
Yeah. Closets
stuff.
to hang your clothes. And then
Yeah.
2 big windows.
In the front, if it was the front bedroom.
And the back was 2 big windows.
2 big
too.
windows, yeah. So you had a lot more room in that house
Oh yeah.
than you did downtown.
Sure.
You had a lot of people to
2.
put in there.
Right.
Okay. All right, I'm going to stop this for a second.
Right.
Did the light go out? No. Is it on again?
Yes.
Is the light on? Okay. Okay, going back to like when you were in high school and stuff, you told me that you graduated in February from
Right.
high school. That's very
That's
different
right.
from how it is now.
Yeah. We used to be able to half the semester. 1 semester and we finish.
Yeah.
But we had to make it up in summer school. So I went to school all summer to Fordham and made up all the...
Oh, I thought that was to make up the college credits because you started in February. You said something?
That's right.
Yeah. So, you began.
Oh,
you,
yeah,
you told me you
the-
began college in February,
Right.
Right?
That's about,
Yeah.
not high school.
and you went to.
Not St. Vincent.
And how'd you get there?
And I used to have to go up on the New York Central. Luckily, they had a station at Park Avenue and 3rd Avenue in 138th Street. And I used to get on the train there and go up to Mount St. Vincent. And the station was right on the campus. And we just walked up a little hill when we were in school.
Right on the river.
Right. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Very nice. So,
That's you went up there recently, right? And no, I know what it was. You went to Devon's game, and
Oh, yeah.
and the girls told you.
right.
They told you about the state.
I was talking to Devin, and then I go over and sit with the Mount St. Vincent people, and they killed me.
But the girls from Mount St. Vincent told you that the train station was closed,
Right, no
and all
more.
went to weed, right?
Right.
All weeds growing around it.
Tell me. all
But the
this
train
and
still passes there.
Right. Doesn't stop. That's all.
Yeah. So you went that semester like February to May or June at the Mount, and then you had to make up some
At
time.
Fordham.
So you went to Fordham in the summer that
Yeah.
year. So you missed going to the beach that year, I guess.
Well, I know. I traveled from the beach.
Oh,
Up
okay.
on the train,
Yeah.
New York Central.
All right. Okay. Why don't you talk about the beach now? Like, the address and where it was and
It
all
was
that.
at 39 Beach 48th Street. And it was a street where there was sand. There was no cars allowed down it. And kids could play in the sand, all the way up the block. And we were the 3rd bungalow from the beach. So we were right near the ocean. You could hear the beautiful water and
on
all
the other
splashing.
side of the boardwalk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the street was sand. I remember there was cement sidewalks in front of the houses.
Right, at
And then-
Little Hill.
And then there was the boardwalk that just was a little like ramp
Right.
from the street, and then a nice wide boardwalk that
All
went
the way up and down. And they wrecked that whole place, and it's still wrecked. They
Yeah.
didn't do a bloody thing to it.
I think the boardwalk is still there, but they
Yeah.
urban renewal. They
Something like that.
knocked all the houses down.
Yeah.
That was in the 60s
That's right.
that
Very
happened,
bad.
and the city still owns the property, I guess,
Yeah,
but nobody.
nothing done with it.
Yeah.
very sad.
So you'd go down to the
Very good.
beach when?
We would go down in May.
Oh,
We
so you
got-
skipped your final exam.
Right, we always got excused, and we passed everything. But then we would stay down at the beach till October, and we didn't come back till October.
So the city
we had
was
a bed.
finally cooled off by the time you
I
got
we
back.
got home. It was very nice. It was a great youth. Nice. And my father used to travel from the Harvard Club every single morning. He would be out and get the first train out, and he'd be back by the 11:05 in the night, and always, always went into the ocean at that late hour.
To
no
cool
matter-
off.
Yeah. Very, very nice. It was good. We used to go down and watch him.
How'd you learn how to swim?
Just learned. I forget, but I know we did learn. And we used to swim from, there were ropes, you know, for people to hold on to and bathe.
Yeah.
And we used to swim from one end of the rope over to the other. That's the way we learned.
Didn't they have the jetties then?
Oh yeah, the jetties were always there. But the ropes were in the jetties inside. The two jetties were there, and then there'd be ropes to
Oh.
hold on.
Probably so people wouldn't hurt themselves on the
Right.
rocks.
But mostly it wasn't rocks.
The jetties were.
They were in, rocks were in them, but the beach itself was just sand.
Right.
It was very nice.
No, I just meant rocks with the jetties.
Yeah.
Because I know they have them.
Mm.
I was wondering when your family started to go to Edgemere and when they built the bungalow, or
Well,
how it all
We
started.
started before I was born. We lived in Edgemere. But up further, the number was 16 Beach 53rd Street. That's our first bungalow. And Pop built that bungalow with my cousin John. And they built it, and we lived there for a while.
Is that
And-
Mary Stone's father?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then we grew in size. We had 7 kids and 3 boys, 7 girls and 3 boys, and we needed a bigger bungalow. So they moved. Before we moved, we still lived in Beach 53rd Street, but they went up to 48th Street, and 39 Beach 48th Street. John and Pop built this other bungalow, which was bigger.
So they built 2 bungalows?
Yeah.
But before that, your family even used to go to the beach.
Oh, in the tent.
tent, right?
Yeah, and then when the family got bigger, we put the tent behind
Behind.
the bungalow, and we lived in both of them.
Extra sleeping quarters.
Right, it was
Yeah.
good. So,
Do you remember when the boardwalk was built, or was that always there in your memory?
no, I remember when it was built. I do it way, way back.
Yeah, when you were a little child.
Yeah, little children.
Yeah.
It was very nice, though.
I don't remember anything about 53rd, Beach 53rd, because
No.
obviously I never was there. But
That's right.
I was to the other one a number of times.
39
And I
Beach
remember it was
48.
it was yellow and green, and I remember in the 60s after they demolished everything,
Oh, yeah.
Charlie and I went down there one hot night because we used to live in Queens. We went down there and we found a piece of the old bungalow. We found a couple of pieces of wood that were that were the color, and I knew the right spot where it had been. So I don't know what happened to those pieces of wood,
No,
but I
I
brought them
remember
back
having-
for you.
I know, I had them.
Yeah, you probably said, "What the heck is this piece of junk?" and threw it out.
No, I should have kept it. That
Oh,
was
that
a
was funny,
very
though.
nice thing to have.
I remember that bungalow had in my memory it had a front porch
Yep.
that had all screens, and you probably 3 or 4 people slept on that porch.
Right, the pull-out couches.
Yeah, and cots along the sides.
Right, and then inside too, in each room there was a bed, and in the back we had a very nice bedroom, which was my mother and father's, and we had a big bed in there, double bed, and then a couch too.
Yeah.
Lots of place to sleep.
Yeah, and there was a bathroom in front. It was kind of like a trolley car, right? There was a hallway along one wall, and then, like, you went in on the porch, and then there was a hallway along one of the outside walls, and
you went up a step.
Right, up a step. I remember tripping on that many times. And then there was 2 bedrooms, I think, on your left.
Yeah, right.
And they had bunk beds in them,
right,
and barely enough room to turn around.
Just enough to sleep and get up in the house.
Yeah, that's all you needed. And then a big kitchen with a table in it. And behind that was the bathroom. And then in the back was the parents' bedroom.
Yeah.
And there was a shower outside in it, in like a shed.
Right.
So you could take a private shower.
Right. If you wanted. Right.
But you never could get the sand off your feet because the floor was sand.
Nice.
So down at the beach, what did you do besides swimming? There must have been other things. I mean, walking up and down the boardwalk.
We took long walks in the sand, and we used to play croquet.
Where? In the
on
sand?
On the beach, yeah.
Oh.
My father was a great one for that. He loved to play it.
But it was all bumpy. Wasn't it?
It was beautiful sand.
No, I mean the sand is bumpy. You usually play croquet on a grass.
Oh, we used to smooth.
Oh, just smooth it out.
Yeah.
That's
very
good.
Nice.
That would be a good place. It's easy to stick those wickets in there.
It was okay.
Who were your friends down there at the beach?
The Finestones and began with an M. Millstone. It's another stone anyway.
Yeah.
And the 2 houses, and then one in the back. 3 sisters lived there with their family.
Yeah, there was a lot of Jewish people down there.
Oh, they were all Jewish.
Yeah.
Just once in a while you'd meet a Christian, going to church usually on Sunday.
Yeah.
And we'd all walk from 48th Street to 39th Street and the Bay Side where the church St. Gertrude was. And we went every Sunday.
That's where you were baptized, right?
Yep.
St. Gertrude's.
Yep.
And what about your own friends? I mean, those were probably just your neighbors. Did you have
but
friends?
they were friends too.
Yeah. Well, I guess you
They
didn't
had
need
kids.
friends. You had so many sisters and brothers.
Yeah, that's right. Plenty. And cousins too coming down, spending the weekend with us and all
like
that.
Mary Stone and them?
Yeah, right.
Did they have a place?
She had one down 86th Street they lived. We were on 48th Street.
Oh, that's a long way.
Yeah, but it was down there, the Edgemere.
Down towards Coney Island
The
or the
names
other
of the
direction?
places were Auburn, Edgemere, and Far Rockaway.
Yeah.
And we lived between Auburn and Far Rockaway. We lived in Edgemere.
And theirs was in Auburn?
Yeah, they're down for Rockaway, really, Rockaway Beach.
More towards Coney Island?
That
Auburn?
wasn't even connected.
No?
Auburn,
Yeah.
right.
What about, I wanted to ask you too about each member of your family, like something special about each one of them that
And I remember.
that you loved about them. Might as well start at the top there. Your brother John, the priest.
Johnny was like distant, but very, very musical. Oh boy, he'd come and play the ukulele from one end of the day to the other. Beautiful, and he mastered it.
Yeah.
He used to just take violin lessons, and he changed to the ukulele, and then he bought a different one, a tipple. It was more strings on it, and he was very good at it. So,
Well, he was probably distant because he was so much older than you.
but,
Well, there was 17 years between you and him,
yeah.
and there's 18 years between me and Tom.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Oh, sure you did.
Didn't realize it, though.
Okay,
No.
who's next in line? Sister Sheila. What was...
Johnny Marion,
Yeah, Sister Sheila.
and she went into the convent when I was about 14.
Yeah. Well, what was something special you remember about her?
She was very holy. Very, and very strict.
Oh,
You
okay.
had to be careful around her.
Oh, all right.
And Millie was
Millie was next, right?
Mama's helper.
Her right hand.
Yeah, very good. She could cook like nobody's business. Very good. And she loved to cook.
Yeah.
So it wasn't bad that she had to cook. Millie. Aileen was the swanky one. She went to Mount St. Vincent.
Oh, can
She was
can
the
you
first
back up
one.
to Millie for a minute?
Yeah.
Did she go to college?
No.
But she used to be a
went-
teacher, though, at St.
Yes,
Jerome.
but she went to dressmaker school.
Oh.
She was very, very good.
She went to high school, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then
Then
dressmaker.
dressmaker school.
Oh.
And she was very good. She sewed very nice.
And but she taught, you told me
And
she
she
taught
went-
you at St. Jerome's.
Yeah.
I guess you didn't have to do anything much to be a teacher in those days.
No, you just had to want to be.
Yeah,
And
be literate.
right, that's right. So she was very nice.
Yeah.
I think she taught also in Sacred Heart,
Oh, really?
the first school I
Yeah.
went to. I think she did.
I remember
Fourth grade.
her just being
Around.
kind of like sad because she always did all the work.
She was
you know?
always doing
She
work.
did all the
right.
work. I always
Yeah.
thought, like, poor Millie. You know?
I know. In fact, I even thought that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Annie is the next one. We know her well.
Yes, big shot.
Listen to you.
That's what she was.
Oh.
She was always a little bit better than the rest of us.
Oh, okay.
Because she went to college, see.
Well, she was the first one.
Yeah.
And who's next? Uncle Oni?
Yeah.
In
Oh,
age?
no.
Yeah.
Johnny Marion, Mildred Aileen, Onro.
Okay. And we all know him well and love
Very
him well.
Yes.
And growing up, what did you love about him the best? He's funny, wasn't he?
He was
funny?
always funny. He'd keep you laughing and singing, and he all knew all the songs.
Just like you.
But he was very good. Nice. And then he went and became a priest. And that was nice because he went over to Harlem. Before he went into the seminary, he used to go over to Harlem and help them out, the McCanns, you know. So when he got ordained, he asked to be sent to Harlem. And the priest never went there, you know.
That was like not a desirable
Right.
post, right?
So he went and he was great.
Yeah,
Very good. They did a lot for everybody.
yeah. We know that.
Yeah.
He was,
And,
he made a difference.
yeah. And the Monsignor he was.
Yeah.
Totsy, newborn
Yeah, but
Nazi.
he didn't let that go to his head at
No,
all.
he didn't.
Not a bit.
That's right.
So who is next in age then after
Johnny,
Onro?
Marion, Mildred, Aileen, Onro, Margaret.
Margaret.
My
We're getting
friend.
down near you now.
My best friend,
Yes.
Margaret,
She's right next to you in
Yeah.
age.
and me.
Something special
She-
about Margaret. I know she
She
was your
didn't-
best friend, but
She didn't go to college. She went to secretary school. And she was very good. She had a very good job in some, I forget the name of the place. I used to know it and I forgot
some lawyer maybe? Was it a
No,
lawyer?
it wasn't a lawyer. It was a
Insurance company?
Yeah,
maybe?
that's
Yeah,
right.
some
Something
insurance company.
big company.
Yeah.
And she had a good job there. So
The thing that I always liked about Margaret was she was always very honest
yeah, she was nice,
and intelligent and loyal.
very, very, very. And she didn't like Ellen used to be very proud, you know. She was different from
Down
Ellen.
to earth.
Yeah,
Very down
very
to
down
earth.
to earth.
Yeah.
Right.
And then,
Um,
go ahead.
Me,
Then you.
and then Enda and Sheila.
Well, you have to say something about each one of them.
Enda was a
Enda.
very good friend.
Yeah.
Right. And she was like down to earth, and she was cook and that kind of stuff. She was like Millie,
Uh-huh.
a lot like Millie. And then Sheila was a little bit swankier,
Yeah. Now, Enda went to nursing school,
Yes.
not college.
right? She went to St. Vincent's.
St. Vincent's Nursing School, and eventually she became the head of that nursing
Yeah,
school.
right. In fact, the state's nursing association, she was the head of.
Oh, later on.
She was very smart.
Yeah. And then Sheila.
And then Sheila was a nurse too.
But she went to the Mount.
Yep.
And she did her nursing there.
Right.
Her nursing degree.
Yep. Yeah.
Nice big family.
Big fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
We had lots of parties and nice parties.
Mm-hmm. The last of the Mohicans.
Right, that's me.
That's you.
The last one.
Oh well. At least you got us.
Yeah, right. Good. Nice kids. Thank God they're all good. You don't really got to watch out for his Tommy.
Okay, let's go back to like your when you were in college and stuff. We're getting on with your life, okay? Did you date much, or did you go out on dates?
I did not. That's one thing I didn't do much.
Yeah.
Never dated.
And what about your sisters? Did they?
Margaret, yes, she was quite swanky.
She was popular.
Yeah, but she married the nicest guy in the whole world.
We're getting on with your life, okay? Did you date much, or did you go out on dates?
I did not. That's one thing I didn't do much.
Yeah.
Never dated.
And what about your sisters? Did they?
Margaret, yes, she was quite swanky.
She was popular.
Yeah, but she married the nicest guy in the whole wide world.
Yeah, he was
Joe
nice,
Grange.
Joe. Yep.
Yep.
So you didn't do much dating, and
No.
but you probably did have some boyfriends before you met Harry. Maybe one or two.
I don't know how he took over.
Well, when did you meet him? And
I met him at the beach, and that's what influenced me. Anybody at the beach was fine.
yeah.
And he lived up the block from me. He was the third bungalow from the boulevard, and we were the third bungalow from the beach.
Oh, so he was on Beach
the same
48th Street too?
Yeah.
Oh,
Number 9.
number 9. Oh, I didn't know that.
And we were 39.
I thought he lived some blocks away.
No, up the block.
Oh, I guess, did they go to the beach every summer? Did you see them every summer?
Not every summer, but once in a while.
Yeah, so they rented it, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they rented.
To get out away from the heat.
Right, everybody would do that if they could.
Yeah.
It was nice down the beach. It was a very nice beach. The sand was so white.
Right.
It was very good. And then the jetties separating the beach from me.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
What did you like about Harry when you first met him?
forget.
I forget.
Maybe because he paid a lot of attention to me.
Probably. Yeah.
Some people didn't. So.
Yeah. Well, he was real nice to Aileen, though, after she got widowed, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was...
Very nice, yeah. And also, he was connected with the beach to me, you know.
Right, right.
The best part of my
Yeah,
life.
where you were comfortable and
Yeah.
where you had the most enjoyment.
Right.
Yeah. You really had a lot in common, too,
That's true.
because you both were, you know,
Artistic.
artistic
Sort
and religious and, you know, you had the
Yeah.
beach in common.
of. Right.
Yeah. I know you got married in 1943.
Right. Not
Right.
one.
No. And that Harry was in the service, and he probably, did he like just come home and then get married and then leave again, or what happened with that?
Yes, after we were married, he had to go out to Fort Lewis,
No,
Washington.
but didn't he have to go back to Europe? I thought he had to go back to Europe because he was married you got married in 43,
Right.
and he was still in the service
Yeah.
until after I was born, even, right?
Yeah.
Didn't he go back to Europe? Because I have a letter
I brought
from him.
you home on a train.
That was 1945, though. What happened in between? Where was he when Eddie was born?
It was overseas.
Yeah, that's what I thought. He was in Europe,
Yeah.
right? When Eddie was born. That was in 1944.
Right.
So you got married
and-
and he had to leave again. So you lived
Right.
at home then, I guess.
Yeah, it was St. Vincent's Hospital.
Yeah. You lived in the Bronx
Yeah,
when Eddie was born.
that's right.
And then he came back. And I was born in 1945. But you did go out to
Fort Lewis.
in the state
Right.
of Washington
Yeah,
before I was born. And then you came back, right?
right.
I wasn't born there. I was born here.
That's right.
Yeah, I remember seeing pictures of you with Eddie in the carriage, and you were pregnant with me, and that was out there
Fort Lewis.
in Washington,
Yeah.
state of Washington. So how'd you get out there? You didn't fly?
No, we on train. On the train all the way across town. Across the country.
Wow, that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Did it take a long time?
Didn't notice.
Yeah, a few days, couple of days.
Couple of days it was.
Probably, yeah. And then you lived where? I know you lived underneath Grandma on Wyckoff Avenue.
Oh yeah.
For a while.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yeah, after the war.
And then where'd you go after that? What was your next place?
I can't remember. I really
Mamaroneck, maybe?
Did I live up in Mamaroneck?
Yeah, we lived in Mamaroneck when I was little.
Well, that's where we were.
Holy Name School.
Henry Avenue.
1408 Henry Avenue.
Right.
Then we moved to Islip. 15 Smith Avenue in Islip, right by the theater.
Right. Yeah, right.
And that's where Dennis was born when we lived there.
John.
No, John was born when we lived up in
White
Westchester, up 1408 Henry Avenue.
Oh.
He was
Yeah,
born
I
in St.
remember.
Agnes Hospital, as
Yeah.
was Sheila Rose,
Yeah.
right? And then we went to 709 Deer Park
Yeah.
Avenue,
How come we went there?
because you bought the house after Dennis was born. In fact, you left the house. I remember this very distinctly. You left the house in Islip, 15 Smith Avenue, to go to the hospital to have the baby Dennis. And when you came home to 709 Deer Park
Oh.
Avenue. We made the move while you were in the hospital.
Really?
I don't know how you did that. That's an awful lot to stomach
Yeah.
at one time. You were amazing.
Somebody else was, not me.
Okay, I think we're finished now, so wave goodbye.
Adios.
Vaya con Dios.